Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for Dadbod to Daddy training vlog, and today was back in Biceps day, and we started the day off with weighted chins. Something I'm really working on doing more and more when I do weighted chins is to just pause at the bottom. And the reason for that, I really want to make sure I'm getting that stretch reflex. This is one of my most important, probably my primary lat exercise at this point, and it does have bicep carryover, and I do need to bring my arms up. But the main thing is making sure that we get that stretch every time, even if it's at the expense of a few reps. Because obviously you guys have seen me in the past crank out 3 sets of 10 with a 45 on weighted chins. But we also have to look at, are we maximizing tension? Are we maximizing rep quality? And really getting that tension in the most difficult positions, in terms of the biomechanics on things like the lats, is kind of a big deal. So I need to make sure I do that and set the ego aside a little bit and make sure that we get that full stretch so that we work the muscles the way that we want. Now, as much as I love pull-ups, the reason I'm doing chin-ups is because, quite frankly, my biceps need more work than my lats. My lats are probably going to continue to grow. You guys see when I walk over there with what they look like, just kind of hanging out. I need more arm than I do lat at this point. So I'm making sure that my lat exercises, or at least my big one, my main one, works my biceps a lot, and that they do get some stimulus from it before I go on to do curls. So again, that ended up being about 3 sets of 6, hit failure on all those. Then I kind of did the same thing for seal rows. Now, as much as I do like one-arm dumbbell rows and I like demonstrating them, I have this set up for the seal row bench, and I love seal rows also. So I like to work it in from time to time. And honestly, for me, yes, they're a little bit different. There's some nuances in what they work, but for me, they're relatively interchangeable exercises in terms of the benefits I get from them. They're both very similar angle. They're both more of a pronated grip for the back. They're very similar back angles the way I do them. They both reduce load on the low back so that I only work that kind of as its own stuff on its own days. So again, when people were to ask me, is there much difference? Honestly, I don't think you're going to see significant differences between the two in terms of muscular development. You just really not. They both can fill that niche well. You could literally swap them around. I'm just choosing to do them today. I just felt like doing them. And that's always subject to change. But I don't worry about it that much. As long as I'm doing my back work fairly heavy, going to failure, going strict, my back grows. Okay. My back will grow. For curls, I kind of made the same mistake I did last week. I'm like, let me see if I can go a little heavier and get more reps, maybe slightly change my form. So I kind of started a little heavier, got 6 reps, and said, no, it really isn't. Let me take the weight back down. Take the weight back down and just go ahead and do my 10s again. Okay. And again, strict barbell curls. In this case, I feel like they're almost a little bit cheaty, and even then struggling to get the 6 reps, probably just a hair too heavy for me. And I always get people like, you should just go heavier on them and cheat. And it's like, that is not giving me the bicep development that I've been finally getting. Okay. It is the stricter curls that do it. And I do want to note, I do these through a full range of motion. And I do oftentimes get people who say stuff like, why don't you keep your elbows pinned to your side and down and back? And it's like, because it doesn't fully work the biceps. Guys, I don't have amazing bicep genetics. I can't do these inferior methods because someone on the internet said, oh, I think you should keep your elbows pinned. No, I bring the bar up towards my face slightly. Not a lot. It's only about 10 to 20 degrees of flexion of the shoulder. Sometimes I take it a little higher because that is part of the function of the bicep. Okay, and it's minor, but that can add up in the grand scheme of things. I'm trying to just fully work the bicep. So we lock it out, right? We go as far down as we can, and then we come up and work the bicep muscle through its full range of motion, which means you're going to come up a little bit higher in order to do that. So again, then you want to make sure that the forearm touches the bicep on every rep, and you do want the elbows to come forward a hair at the top. Notice I do have the wrist cocked back a little bit, and that keeps tension on the bicep when you get higher up. Okay, that's the idea behind that. And it reduces things like forearm cramps and pain that people get as they turn it into a wrist curl. We save the wrist curls for last. I went ahead and did those today. All right, then I do incline curls after that. Again, old school exercise. Great, one of the best isolation movements for the biceps. It also puts them into a lengthened position or a stretch position. Again, absolute winner, classic bicep exercise that a lot of greats in the 50s and 60s use as a primary bicep builder. A big fan of this lift, have been for many years. I just didn't always use it because I didn't care as much about biceps. But now that I really do, and I'm training more for physique, I incorporate this lift, and I'm incorporating it regularly. Again, the main trick with this movement, go all the way down. Make sure that you get that stretch reflex at the bottom. Okay, so you need to lock the elbows to the best of your ability, and then use that stretch that is created there while you've got the shoulders back. It creates an intense stretch reflex. Use that to your advantage. Like, you don't want to be pausing at the bottom with it if you can avoid it, unless you just hit failure. But you guys notice when I stick at the bottom, that's failure. Like, I can't do another rep, it just sticks. Okay, but you're trying to initiate that stretch reflex. And yes, by the way, this will probably be the last week you guys see me looking this fluffy, shifting my diet now to start dropping a little water weight again, the extra bloat, and I think you guys will notice a difference. I've gained muscle and lost fat in the last couple months. So now I needed to show. So again, kind of seeing it all hang out for now, and hopefully within another week, things are going to look a little different. So yeah, keep moving forward with that. At this point now, we're going to ease back into full cutting, making sure that we're going to cut. Going to keep the training volumes within recovery. Finished up here with some standing wrist curls. I like this exercise, and I realize, like I've said before, I need to make sure I work everything. Even though my volumes are not that high, everything's about efficiency. We don't want to leave anything untrained. You know, it's like I'm making sure the long head of the tricep gets trained. I'm doing some forearm work. We're doing some calf work. We're doing some neck work. Okay, and it's not large volumes of it. You don't need a lot of it, but you do need to fill those gaps in. And, 3 hard sets, like that's what I'm doing. Come and do 3 sets of quality neck extensions. Just 3 sets of really heavy calf raises to failure. 3 sets of work for the forearms like that. Just to fill in the gaps, the stuff that may be getting understimulated, coming in and just doing a few really high quality sets to failure. Okay? Will fill in those gaps. You don't have to do a lot of it, but you do need to do it if you want a balanced physique and maximum development. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.